is to find Taylen. So with that, I'll open it for questions.
Can you tell us anything about any other areas you're searching besides that place?
Yes, we are looking at another location. We'll get that to you later on this afternoon. But we're going to start here because as you see, the crime scene is here. We're going to search this area, search the complex south of us. And then as we get more information, we'll ask these volunteers to join us in those areas also.
Can you run us back through the father? What time did you say he arrived? You said at his mother's house with his hands cut, or where exactly?
So around 9:15, he's at his mother's house. His hands are cut and his arms are cut, and then he admits himself into the hospital.
Have you been able to determine what cut his hands and his arms?
No, we have not.
And I guess following up on that, do we have a sense of kind of how Passion was killed, and if so, has a murder weapon been recovered, if such exists?
That's still part of our investigation.
Did the father live here at this apartment complex with her?
That I don't know.
Chief, you notice that they're living in the lake that is nearby to the big park. Did you guys have any leads that leaded to that lake? Why are they living in the lake?
We're going to search this whole area. So that lake's part of this complex. So we're going to probably do like a mile radius search of that. And the lake's the first place we're going to look. Just maybe he walked away or something like that. But we want to make sure that we check everything in this area. We follow up on every lead that we can follow up. And that's another thing. If anybody has any information, you just heard from the grandparents and the uncles and the family members, please contact us. Let's bring the baby home. Let's get him home.
Are you going to be searching all the bodies of water that are around this complex? Because there's several of them.
We are. The dive team's out there. Also, we're using drones, so the drones can do like a grid search, so we can cover more area. Because again, the helicopter is pretty high, but the drone can get pretty low and do a grid search.
Chief, can you give us any geographic of a reference as to where the mother lives in relation to this complex?
Yeah, right behind me, as you saw, you're talking to the victim.
No, the other, father, mom, where he went.
I'm not going to give you that information at this time.
Now, how did you guys realize that the father had his hands? Was that after a detective went to go interview him, or did someone else know his hands?
Through our investigative lead with some of the family members, were able to find that out.
Have there been any calls to service here? Any consideration?
Not one. This is, and we didn't get a call that night when somebody heard some noise. No one called us that night. The only time we came here is after the mother of the deceased. She called because, as she told you earlier, she FaceTimes her every day. So she didn't hear anything from her. She called the property manager here. The property manager goes to the deceased's home, and she finds a very violent crime scene. I want to make sure, a very violent crime scene. And that's when we start looking for the child. We didn't know there was a child until later on.
Was the door open? The property manager go in, or how was they walking?
They had to, I'm assuming they had to unlock the door.
Is the father the only person of interest that you guys are looking at right now?
We're looking at everyone, but right now that we're looking, like I said, the father's person of interest, but we're going to see what the investigation leads us in the evidence. We want to talk to the father. Again, we want to know where Taylen is. And we want the father, if he knows where Taylen is, to tell us. And that's what we want. We want Taylen.
Was he released from the hospital that night when he went, for those cuts? Was he released?
The father's still in the hospital.
He's still in the hospital.
Chief, does the father have any criminal history of violence?
To my knowledge, no.
Looking in the one, the dumpster here was also taken last night.
We're going to check everything. We couldn't look inside the dumpster last night, so we want to make sure we could take the dumpster to a location where we can search it very thoroughly.
Right now, the father's not speaking, though. Is that right?
The father's not talking to us. No, I did not.
Chief, what time in the morning did the mom call on Thursday?
She didn't call us. She called the property manager. So I have to get you that timeline. Sorry. So the grandmother didn't call the property manager until 2:30 p.m.
Okay,
That's when they made entry into the home.
we have a lot of room here everywhere out. I'm assuming you can get the tracking on video evidence that's helping you.
They're still out there now, and if people that do have Ring cameras, if you see anything on there, please share that with us. We're looking at everything that we can find. We've got some pictures already where someone saw the blood trail early Thursday morning. So we're going to try to, that's what we're trying to piece together this timeline. So we know there's a blood trail early Thursday morning.
How does that blood trail?
As you saw outside, there was a blood trail right where the car was. Sorry.
We'd be testing to see if it's his blood.
Yes, so we'll be testing everything. Is it his blood? Is it her blood? Is it Taylen's blood? Those are all the things that we've got to look at.
How important is every minute when it comes to finding,
It's very important. We're coming up on 24 hours. 24 hours. Taylen has been missing. That's why I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that people out there listening. We want to find this baby. That's our goal right now. Where is this baby? If someone has this baby, call us. Let us take this baby. Let us bring this baby back to his family. He's already lost his mom, so let's make sure.
How far out from this location do you expect to expand the search for this child?
We don't know right now. Again, like so, we may do a mile radius. So right now, we're just trying to figure out where we're going to start from. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There you go.
Okay, so it looks like that's it. Um, all right, so I was gonna do a pre-recorded video on this, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick synopsis of all the information that I have so far. So Taylen Mosley is 2 years old. An Amber Alert was issued Thursday afternoon on March 30th for Taylen Mosley after his mother, Passion Jeffrey, was found deceased as a result of a very violent homicide, quote unquote, in her Lincoln Shores apartment complex unit, according to Anthony Holloway, the gentleman we were just listening to, who is the chief of police in St. Petersburg, Florida. Apparently, there was a family member who had not heard from Passion and became concerned. So they went to the leasing office and asked the property manager to enter the apartment and check on them. Now, Passion's body was discovered at about 2:30 p.m., and Taylen was nowhere to be found. Let me go ahead and share the first press conference with you guys so that you guys get a better idea. This was actually yesterday. Let me go ahead and pull that up.
Minutes. So I'm going to give you a timeline, and then I'll open up for any questions if you wish. So yesterday around 5:30, the family members saw the deceased and Taylen at this location. Around 9:30 last night, one of the neighbors heard a commotion. Earlier today, the family did not hear from the deceased, so they asked the apartment manager to come do a check on them. When they went into the home, they found the deceased in the apartment. I can tell you it's a very violent homicide scene within the apartment, but we cannot find the 2-year-old. So right now, that's our main concern is to try to locate Taylen. I can tell you right now, we have our state, federal, and county partners looking for this young man. We have a dog coming in to try to find, and we're also going to put a drone up to do a grid search of the back area. That's all I have for you right now. If I get any more updates, please we'll stand by for that. But our main concern is we need to find this 2-year-old. We need to know where he is. So please, if you can get that information out there, please. If anybody knows where this young man is, please, we're begging you, please call us. So that's our concern right now. We need to find this young man and make sure he's okay. Shouldn't say young man, make sure this child is okay. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Chief, I didn't catch the first part of your presser with the chopper going over. You said that yesterday around 5:30, a family member saw the boy. Can you kind of just go over
Sure.
that timeline again?
So around 5:30 yesterday, a family member saw the deceased and saw the baby yesterday. So today they didn't hear from them. So right around, I think it was 2:30. That's when they asked the property manager to go do a check, and that's when they found the deceased in the apartment, but they did not find the child in there.
And what happened at 9:30 last night?
9 o'clock last night, as we're doing an area check, some of the neighbors said they heard a commotion coming from that apartment.
Chief, have you been able to talk with Taylen's father?
No, we have not.
But you don't believe he's with his father either.
We know he's not with his father.
The Amber Alert said that he's been missing. The boy's been missing since yesterday.
Well, again, now we're just building up the information. So now we know that he was seen yesterday at 5 o'clock. So now that's our timeline. Sometime between 5 o'clock and today, no one has seen the young man, the child.
Is there any surveillance footage, parking lot or apartment area that your investigators will be able to access?
Well, that's what the detectives are doing now. They're combing the area. And if anybody has any footage that they would like to share with us, please give us a call so we can take a look at that. And that's what the detectives are doing now. They're going door to door to see if anybody has any type of cameras or anything that they saw last night or saw today that was suspicious, to give us that information so we can follow up on those leads.
Is there anyone in particular that you all have your eye on that people should look out for, a car or anything like that?
We don't have anything right now. That's why we're asking if anybody know where Taylen is to please let us know, because we need him. We want to make sure that he's okay. Because like I told you, that crime scene is very violent on the inside.
Is there any indication from the crime scene that Taylen may have been hurt or injured already?
Don't know. And that's why we're trying to find him.
Say how the victim died? Like, was it gunshot wounds or?
Right now, because it's still under investigation. That's what we're going to get out there.
Are you able to speak to where in her apartment she was found, bedroom or kitchen?
I'll just say in the apartment. That's where she was found.
Do you know how many people lived in the apartment?
Right now, we're just assuming just on the lease with just the mom and the child.
Is that blue car the mother's car?
Yes, it is.
Can you speak to the urgency of this investigation right now?
It's very urgent. Like I told you, it's all hands on deck right now. We're calling our detectives in. Again, we have our county, state, and federal partners that are assisting because we want to find Taylen. That's our main goal right now. The homicide scene, we will work that. But right now, we want to bring this child home.
If somebody has him, is there a message you have for that person?
Yes, please. If you have this child, please call us. Let us know that this child is safe, because that's our main concern right now. We're not looking to charge anyone. We just want to know where this child is right now to make sure that he is safe.
And to speak to how much you guys are up against, your radius for searching for him right now.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, that helicopter.
No worries. As far as speaking to the seriousness and what you're up against, your radius for searching for him right now spans probably infinitely as far as where he could be.
That is correct, because again, the last time he was seen was yesterday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So he could be anywhere, and that's what we're trying to find out. Where is he?
Does the delay make it a challenge that this commotion was heard at 9:30 last night and that she was found today at 2:30?
Yes, again, that's the timeline that we're working with right now. So we don't know if Taylen was there at around 9 o'clock. We just know there was commotion in that apartment. No one called police. They just said that's what they heard last night.
And again, you all say you haven't spoken to Taylen's father, but you know that he does not have the child.
That is correct. Okay, thank you.
See, I was really shaky on that, because they were saying, we haven't spoken to the father, but we know he's not with him. And I'm thinking, how could you possibly know that? How could you know he's not with him if you haven't even spoken to him? That doesn't make sense. And I'm thinking maybe he's indisposed in some way. Maybe he's in jail. Maybe he's a police officer and he's at work and they know that, you know what I mean? Who knows? But now I know. Yes, Cherry. Thank you. Now we know that he was in the hospital. Now let me now police believe that as of Thursday, when the Amber Alert was issued, Taylen had already been missing for 24 hours and that he, quote unquote, could be anywhere. A neighbor apparently heard a noise, but says they didn't think enough of it to call the police and report it. Now, guys, we know that in the wake of the University of Idaho murders and those of us with common sense, we have drawn the conclusion that there is an infinite amount of possibilities as to why someone may not feel compelled to call 911 every time they hear a noise. Now, as you heard, his father has been named a person of interest, and he was in the hospital with cuts and scratches, and he's still in the hospital. And Chief Holloway has he's assured, as you heard, that county, state, and federal agencies are working on the case, and the main focus right now is finding little Taylen. And neighbors have commented on the significant amount of police presence at the Lincoln Shores apartment complex, and the blue sedan. There's been a blue sedan that has been seen and surrounded by crime scene tape with the trunk open and items outside of the vehicle. And that vehicle has been identified as Passion's, Taylen's mom's. So, and then there's also a search in the water that took place earlier today. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up a little bit of footage of that. Give me 1 second. So you can see now, apparently this body of water is located actually on the property of the Lincoln Shores apartment complex in St. Petersburg. Yeah, see. And I was watching this. I mean, obviously they have to be thorough, but I'm seeing here that, I mean, they got a diver looking in the shallow ends of everything here. But I mean, way out here, like I said, they have to be thorough in how they search. But I mean, you can see how far out there they're searching. I can't see anybody being able to throw a 2-year-old. I mean, 30 pounds to throw a 2-year-old that far into the water, or, and I'm sorry, I apologize for the graphic nature of my thought process here, but the only way I could see this child being recovered that far into the water is if a vehicle was dumped with him in it. But I'm just not, yeah. Well, and see, there's another edge here, so maybe he walked over to this fence and threw him over. And yes, there's gators in this water for sure. If it's in Florida and it's in a body of water, and this body of water does not look, even though it looks man-made, it doesn't look like it's kept up with. And even man-made bodies of water in Florida, such as lakes, ponds, that sort of thing, they have gators in them for sure. As someone who grew up in Florida, I could tell you that is a fact. But this was taken before the press conference that I was streaming prior. I'm going to play that press conference one more time from the beginning. Let's see, Petty Patty saying, the glare, you forget it's Florida. Gators could have snagged him. They have to check through the whole thing. Yeah, good point. Yeah, you're right. You're right in the sense that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things that could have happened here. Give me 1 second here. Let me go ahead and pull up that press conference one more time.
Good afternoon, everyone. What I'm going to do first is introduce to you to the mother of the victim, and also the grandmother of Taylen that's missing.
We just want to say that Taylen is a beautiful little boy, and he's really loving and caring, and he's just very sweet, and he'll smile and laugh at anybody. And there's Amber Alerts everywhere. And you guys have seen them. I have people all over the country calling me about the Amber Alerts. So I'm asking everybody, if anybody, somebody saw something,
Please
okay?
speak up.
So if you know something, say something. Help us get Taylen back. Taylen lost his mommy, so he needs his family right now. So we ask for your help in finding him. Somebody knows.
Somebody
step up
knows
to the
something.
plate.
Please speak up. Somebody knows something. Somebody saw something.
And Passion just
Taylen
is a beautiful mom.
love to be with his family.
Yeah.
We missing Taylen. We call him
Tay Tay.
Tay Tay.
Yes, he will answer.
The glam. He answer the glam.
Yeah. He answers to a lot of things. He's very smart.
He's always
kid.
calling his mom on his cell phone.
Yeah, always.
He misses his mom. They call each other all the time. She really loved Taylen.
Yeah, we don't know.
She
about
always
his
was
color.
there for Taylen. She calls on breaks.
Yep. And
Early in the morning, they FaceTime me early in the morning.
we're without words. We love Passion very much, and we love
Very
Taylen.
much.
So we've lost Passion. So we ask you guys to help us to find Taylen and to get him back, please.
Please help, please.
What was your daughter like?
She's very outspoken, always make you laugh,
Smile, beautiful smile all the
always
time.
joking,
Trying to rap.
Laughing,
always trying to rap,
Laughing.
sing.
scaring you when you're not expecting it, always hiding behind
Like,
doors.
yeah,
She's a troll.
Ever since she was like 3-4 years
Yeah.
old.
She was 20, but she's a loving kid, and she loved that baby.
Yeah,
That baby loves
so
her.
sweet. I can remember Taylen was born. I was coming from Seminole, I working. He looked up at me like, I said, Taylen Mosley. And he said, huh? Closed his eyes. I said, okay. I mean, Glam need to go sit down now.
Yeah, and if he
But
calls
please,
for
y'all,
auntie, that's
please.
me.
Has she
Okay.
talked to you?
Yes. Auntie and TT.
Folks, is there a message you would send to Taylen's father? He's been named a person of interest. Is there anything you would say to him or want him to?
Please.
There's nothing we have to say.
Your daughter was making a life for herself. And so what she was doing, how she was making her way and making her way and making a life for
Well, she had just moved. She was working at CVS. She had just moved out here. This was her first month that she lived here. And very happy to have a better place than what she had before. And for a 20-year-old, she was doing well. She wanted more out of life. And, we're without words.
Now, are you guys originally from the St. Petersburg area, or where was she?
She's from St. Pete.
Yes. Originally from St. Pete.
What have you guys been doing last night and today? I know the answer is you're obviously looking for Taylen, but how are you doing that? Who are you contacting? What steps have you guys been taking to try and uncover anything?
We're just making sure that everybody is aware of the Amber Alerts it's showing up, passing it on Facebook, and in any other social media outlet. Make sure that everybody sees it. And so it's very difficult because we're in a really grieving pattern right now, because we don't know where Taylen is and we lost passion. So we're depending on the St. Pete Police Department and all of you media to help us to find Taylen.
Are you all praying up right now?
Oh yes, and we have prayed and we've asked everybody else to pray.
I'm so sorry for your loss, and we're really hoping for Tay safe return here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If
When you
anyone
see that
out there
Amber,
is watching this and knows where Taylen is, just what message do you give to that person?
Please bring Taylen home.
He needs his family
Home safely. He needs his family.
because he's
He
missing
needs
his
his
mother.
family. He's missing his mother.
So he needs to be around people who love and care about him.
He's
Oh
missing
my
his
God,
grandmother.
man, this
His
is.
great. His great.
when you see that Amber Alert out and his face being shared by people who might not even know him, what is that like for you to see that picture being shared everywhere?
Well, it's very difficult to continually see it, but we have to see it just like the Amber Alert ran across the cable system all night long. So a lot of people, it's difficult because we don't know where he is, and we want to know where he is, and we're glad that they're doing it, so that we can have a possibility of getting him and getting him back. So
Perhaps police can.
Oh my God.
Here too. Do you have any idea what might have happened here at all?
We're going to do everything in our power.
thank you.
Please
I
help us.
appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Okay. As you saw from her, it's very emotional. I'm going to give you the timeline again about what happened yesterday. Then open it for any questions if you wish. And again, our two most important things right now is number one, to find Taylen and bring him home, and number two, to find out who killed Miss Jeffries. That's our main goal right now. This is all hands on deck. Every detective is working this case. I just briefed the mayor prior to coming here. I want to thank our partners that are out there. Number one, the St. Pete Police, the St. Pete Fire Department, the Clearwater Fire Department dive team. They're here. Sheriff's Office, Pinellas County for bringing their aviation unit out here. Manatee for bringing out the K9. Our partners at FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the FBI. So as you can see, everyone here is working on this case. So again, I'm going to go over the timeline that we did yesterday and more information that's come before us. So yesterday, as I said, the last time the family was seen around 5:20 on Wednesday afternoon with the family members, as you saw grandmother right here talking to them. Around 8:30 Wednesday night, someone said they heard a noise. They heard some type of noise that was out there. Around 9 o'clock, the father arrives at his mother's home, his hands are cut and his arms are cut. From there, he goes to the hospital and he admits himself into the hospital. The father is a person of interest but nothing in our investigation, I want to repeat that, nothing in our investigation leads us to believe that he is a victim. That father, he gets cut, the father heard some type of noise that was out there around
I just want to play this again because this is a very important detail and I want it to be very, very clear.
9 o'clock. The father arrives at his mother's home, cut, his hands are cut, and his arms are cut. From there, he goes.
All right. So let's just say real quick. All right. Let's just assume for a second, real quick, that this person, and I think it's pretty safe to say that the police believe this man to be guilty of this crime. Now, even though they haven't said that, they do believe that. Now, there's no definitive evidence saying that he's guilty yet. I want to be very clear about that. But let's just say that he is guilty, just for the sake of argument. Very consistent with defense wounds, exactly as people are saying in the chat. Cuts on his hands and arms. Very, 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 very interesting when it comes to that. And also, the first place that he goes is his mom's house. And then he goes to the hospital. Now, how extensive are these injuries and what are the nature of these injuries is a very, very important thing to try to keep in mind. We don't have any of this information yet. But he says something very, very important here, because here, as we like to say now, we like to engage with empathy. But we also like to trust law enforcement and their investigations because they are the professionals. We are not. We're not sleuths. We are just people who care about justice, but most importantly, we care about finding little Taylen.
Goes to the hospital, and he admits himself into the hospital. The father is a person of interest, but nothing in our investigation, I want to repeat that, nothing in our investigation leads us to believe that he is a victim.
Okay. So not only is this man not considered to be a victim by law enforcement, nothing in their investigation, at least, indicates to them that he is a victim in this situation at all whatsoever. But they're also naming him a person of interest. I am very, very happy right now that with this little bit of information that his identity has not been revealed yet. I have no interest in searching for him on social media. I have no interest in finding out what his identity is in any way, shape, or form, at least not yet. I am interested in law enforcement getting the results that they need in order to find Taylen. Going out and finding out who this person is, spooking him, getting people to call him while he's at the hospital or going to see him or what the fuck ever happens could absolutely endanger law enforcement's efforts in locating Taylen safely. So there's a reason why they have not disclosed his personal information, why they have not disclosed his identity. And for the sake of finding Taylen safely, it is important, in my opinion, that we respect that and let law enforcement conduct their investigation the way that they're conducting it, follow their lead. All you need to do is, if you see Taylen, if you live in the Florida area, surrounding states around Florida, if you see Taylen or anybody who resembles Taylen, fits his description, and looks suspicious or anything like that, you report it, period. Your job as a citizen, even a YouTuber, your job is simply to report the facts, and that is it. That's it. Your job is simply to do your part to make sure that Taylen is found, because we have a 2-year-old little boy who's missing right now.
We tried speaking to him, and he's not talking to us at this time.
Okay. So he's not cooperating. Now I want to be clear, he didn't use that word, but it's very safe to assume at this point that the father is not cooperating. If he's not talking to them at this point, he didn't say, well, he's in a coma. And I doubt that he got put in a coma with cuts and scratches. So it's pretty safe to say, or at least pretty safe to assume, that at this point he is not cooperating.
So we're going to continue doing our investigation. The main thing that I want people out there to know is tomorrow morning, if there's any volunteers that want to come out, we're going to do a search at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you just want to come to the location, we'll also put it up on our Facebook page on where you need to come so you can help us look for Taylen. And we're going to continue to do the search throughout our city. This is an ongoing investigation. As we get more information, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. And again, our goal right now is to find Taylen. So with that, I'll open it for questions.
Can you tell us anything about any other areas you're searching besides that place?
Yes, we are looking at another location. We'll get that to you later on this afternoon. But we're going to start here because as you see the crime scene is here. We're going to search this area, search the complex south of us. And then as we get more information, we'll ask these volunteers to join us in those areas also.
Can you run us back through the father? What time did you say he arrived? You said at his mother's house with his hands cut, or where exactly?
So around 9:15, he's at his mother's house. His hands are cut and his arms are cut, and then he admits himself into the hospital.
Have you been able to determine what cut his hands and his arms?
No, we have not.
And I guess following up on that, do we have a sense of kind of how Passion was killed, and if so, has a murder weapon been recovered, if such exists?
That's still part of our investigation.
Did the father live here at this apartment complex with her?
That I don't know.
You notice that they're moving in the lake that is in the back of the park. Did you guys have any leads that lead to that lake? Why are they moving in the lake?
We're going to search this whole area. So that lake's part of this complex. So we're going to probably do like a mile radius search of that. And the lake's the first place we want to look. Just maybe he walked away or something like that. But we want to make sure that we check everything in this area. We follow up on every lead that we can follow up. And that's another thing. If anybody has any information, you just heard from the grandparents and the uncles and the family members, please contact us. Let's bring the baby home. Let's get him home.
Okay. I know that my mods right now are doing their best, and some of you in the chat who are not mods are doing your best to try to, and I know you guys mean well by pointing these things out, and you're not wrong by these things coming to mind, because that is a lot of my content, is how these tragedy pimps end up exploiting these situations and hindering investigations. I understand that. I'm sure JLR and whoever the fuck else is doing whatever they're doing right now. I get that. But the focus right now needs to be Taylen. Right now, the best thing that any of us can do right now is focus on Taylen, because he is 2 years old. He's missing. And if he's okay, if he's alive, he is lost. He is scared. He just lost his mother. He needs his family, as his family just stated on this press conference right here. He needs his family, and that's what we need to be concerned with. Now, of course, anybody going and trying to find this person and calling hospitals, finding out where he is, that is going to hinder, and I'm going to explain this, that would hinder their chances of finding Taylen, because the way it looks right now, this man is the only person, the only actual lead to the whereabouts of Taylen. Right now, he is the only chance of law enforcement finding this little boy, and the only chance of reuniting him with his remaining family members. And if we start fucking with that, people, if we start fucking with that, we could endanger Taylen further. And we don't want to do that. There are trained professionals who are charged with the task of getting the information that they need from Taylen's biological father. They know where he is. They know the right questions to ask. They see his demeanor. They understand the situation, and they know how to use all of the variables in this particular situation in order to direct their questions and to get answers effectively from him. So it is not our place to start messing with that and making it more complicated for law enforcement to be able to do their job, period. So it also does not help if we start poking the hornet's nest and start focusing on this dickhead who's trying to find out where he is and what hospital he's at so he can interfere with an investigation. So let's keep that in mind, that even focusing on that can actually hinder the investigation on some degree. So let's try to keep that in mind. It may not seem that way right off the bat, but if you stop and think about it for a moment, you could be contributing to JLR's tomfoolery. So don't do that.
Are you going to be searching all the bodies of water that are around this complex? Or there's several of them?
We are. The dive teams out there also, we're using drones, so the drones can do like a grid search, so we can cover more area, because again, the helicopter is pretty high, but the drone can get pretty low and do a grid search.
Can you give us any geographic reference as to where the mother lives in relation to this complex?
Yeah, right behind me, as you saw, you're talking the victim.
No, the other, the father, mom, where he went.
I'm not going to give you that information at this time.
Now, how did you guys realize that the father had these cuts on his hands? Was that after a detective went to go interview him, or did someone else, of his family?
Through our investigative lead with some of the family members, we were able to find that out.
Have there been any previous calls to service here? Any considerations?
Not one. This is, and we didn't get a call that night when somebody heard some noise. No one called us that night. The only time we came here is after the mother of the deceased. She called because, as she told you earlier, she FaceTimes her every day. So she didn't hear anything from her. She called the property manager here. The property manager goes to the deceased's home, and she finds a very violent crime scene. I want to make sure, a very violent crime scene. And that's when we start looking for the child. We didn't know there was a child until later on.
Was the door open? The property manager could go in, or how was when they walked in?
They had to, I'm assuming they had to unlock the door.
Is the father the only person of interest that you guys are looking at right now?
We're looking at everyone, but right now that we're looking, like I said, the father's a person of interest, but we're going to see what the investigation leads us and the evidence. We want to talk to the father. Again, we want to know where Taylen is, and we want the father, if he knows where Taylen is, to tell us. And that's what we want. We want Taylen.
Did you leave from the hospital that night when he went, for those?
Again, we want Taylen. There's a little boy out there. There are professionals, people trained in situations like this and how to deal with them. Anybody on the internet is not properly trained to get that information. Let law enforcement do their job. Let them find this little boy. Then we can talk about these idiots all we want. Promise. I promise you I will. Okay?
The father's still in the hospital.
He's still in the hospital.
Chief, does the father have any criminal history of violence?
To my knowledge, no.
On top of looking in the bonds and whatnot, the dumpster here was also taken last night. Was there just a precautionary dumpster? Why was the dumpster?
We're going to check everything. We couldn't look inside the dumpster last night, so we want to make sure we could take the dumpster to a location where we could search it very thoroughly.
Right now, the father's not speaking, though. Is that right?
The father's not talking to us.
Say what hospital is that?
No, I did not.
Chief, what time in the morning did the mom call on Thursday when she missed that FaceTime?
She didn't call us. She called a property manager, so I have to get you that timeline. Yes. I'm sorry. So the grandmother didn't call the property manager until 2:30 p.m.
Okay,
That's when they made entry into the home.
We have a lot of ring cameras everywhere. I'm assuming you've mentioned surveillance video tracking. I don't know if there's some at the gate, but have your detectives going door to door found any sort of video evidence that's helping you?
They're still out there now, and if people that do have ring cameras, if you see anything on there, please share that with us. We're looking at everything that we can find.
JD Wells, I'll answer that. Okay. You're asking, how could the father not be a victim? That's actually a very valid question. It's a perfectly valid question. based on the information that Chief Holloway right now is sharing with everybody and sharing with the public, there's no reason to believe that he's a victim. They don't believe that he's a victim. And you look at all of the facts. He went home he went to his mother's house shortly, at least sometime after Taylen and his mother Passion were last seen. He went to his mother's house. His mother, apparently, I guess they got that information from his mother, that he had extensive injuries as far as cuts and scratches and things of that nature. He went to the hospital, and according to him in the hospital, he's not talking to police. Now, if they don't believe him to be a victim, and you're saying, how could he not be a victim? And normally I would agree with you, but I'm simply answering your question as to how could he not be a victim? Well, how he could not be a victim basically means he isn't cooperating. If he's not, if you love your child, okay, if you love your child, you're going to cooperate and you're going to speak to police. And he's going to say, this chief of police is going to sit up here in a press conference and he is going to say, the father is cooperating with us. He's answering questions and he's going to do everything he can to deter any type of public suspicion on him. Now, he's not trying to direct public suspicion on him necessarily because they're not sharing his identity. So the fact that he is not cooperating with law enforcement and not sharing any information and not talking, that would indicate to me personally, my personal opinion is that he is not a victim, because a victim would be someone who has a missing child out there and is worried and is doing everything they can to cooperate with law enforcement to locate this child. And he does not seem to be doing that based on what Chief Holloway is saying here. So to answer your question, that's how he could not be a victim. I'm not saying he isn't one. I'm saying this is how we have come to the belief, and law enforcement has come to the belief that he's not a victim.
Fine. We've got some pictures already where someone saw the blood trail early Thursday morning. So we're going to that's what we're trying to piece together this timeline. So we know there's a blood trail early Thursday morning.
How did that blood trail?
As you saw outside, there was the blood trail right where the car was. Sorry.
We'd be testing to see if it's his blood.
Yes. So we'll be testing everything. Is it his blood? Is it her blood? Is it Taylen's blood? Those are all the things that we've got to look at.
How important is every minute when it comes to finding your 2-year-old baby boy?
It's very important. We're all coming up on 24 hours. 24 hours Taylen has been missing. That's why I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that people out there listening. We want to find this baby. That's our goal right now. Where is this baby? If someone has this baby, call us. Let us take this baby. Let us bring this baby back to his family. He's already lost his mom.
Now, that's another possibility. Before everybody starts jumping to conclusions that Taylen's no longer with us, we don't need to jump to that conclusion yet. We don't have any evidence to indicate that yet. We have some evidence that he's in danger, absolutely. We have evidence that he is in grave danger, absolutely. Considering the demise of his mother and the nature of her demise, absolutely, we have reason to believe that he's in grave danger, but we don't have evidence to conclude what condition that Taylen is currently in. So therefore, it's irresponsible to assume the worst. We have to assume that he's out there and worried, and that he's hoping to be back with his family. Now, if you're sitting there going, well, look at his mom and blah, blah, blah. For all we know, this guy panicked and ditched Taylen somewhere, and some person who either is a good Samaritan picked him up and doesn't know exactly what to do. Could be somebody who has a record and is worried about a warrant. Could be somebody who just wanted a child and found one and decided to keep him. So that's why they're saying, if you have Taylen, please report it. There's a number of possibilities out there as to where Taylen is and what could have happened to him. So drawing the worst possible conclusion does not help find Taylen. What it does is it helps stir up gossip, and it helps fuel the need for tragedy and drama in these horrible situations. I'm not interested in that yet. I am in no way, shape, or form interested in that. What I am interested in is getting the information out there, and hopefully Taylen is found and reunited with his family. My hope is still alive. I would encourage yours to be also.
So let's make sure.
How far out from this location do you expect to expand the search for this child?
We don't know right now. Again, like I said, we may do a mile radius. So right now we're just trying to figure out where we're going to start from. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. There you go.
Right. That's another thing. Could have dropped him with a friend or family member. Could be using him as some sort of leverage to gain some sort of leniency for what happened to Passion. So there's all kinds of possibilities here. I gotta say that it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see Passion and Taylen's family up there. This was obviously a loving family. Taylen comes from a loving environment, clearly comes from a loving environment. Even if whatever the home life was that Passion may have provided, there was at least loved ones that looked out for their well-being and kept in contact with them on a daily basis, and FaceTimed with Passion on a daily basis. So there's no reason to assume the worst of Passion. I don't care what type of habits that may come up. I don't care of what type of criminal record that may come up. The fact of the matter is that Passion has a loving family out there. Taylen has a loving family out there, and they are worried, and they deserve justice, and they deserve to have Taylen found safely. They deserve the peace of mind that this little boy is safe. So I am already, anybody who starts to do digging on this mom and starts to do digging on this father and all of this shit that is totally irrelevant to what could help find Taylen, I am condemning in advance. I am absolutely condemning it in advance. None of that shit is relevant at the moment. All that matters is that Taylen is found safely and that we support law enforcement in their efforts to do so. Period. Now, Taylen, he has just turned 2 years old as of March 12th. And he is considered to be in danger. And his description is that he is a black male with brown eyes and brown hair. He's 2 feet tall and weighs about 30 pounds. And the last time he was seen was on Wednesday by his relatives with his mother outside of their apartment. And if you have any credible information on Taylen's whereabouts or his mother's homicide, please call 911 or St. Petersburg Police Department at 727-893-7780. 727-893-7780. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I know this was an impromptu live. This was intended. I was working on a pre-recorded video, but I could still put out that information. For me, putting out the information as quickly as possible took precedence So therefore, I knew this press conference was going live, and so I wanted to cover that press conference and share that with you and share any information that I had in summary with you guys. And any updates that take place, I will be sharing with you guys moving forward. And of course, yes, we're going to continue the tragedy pimp stuff. I know you guys love that, and I love doing it. And I will cover all that stuff. But right now, as I said, my interest and my focus is, and I would encourage yours to be as well, is the safe recovery of Taylen Mosley. Okay. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, any new updates that come up, I'm going to go ahead and share with you when the time comes. I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.